These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's one jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities, like chores and tending to our pets and shopping, will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities, and another 720 days will go to community activities, like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope we're all good.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are we doing?
So, I love that video. Now, you love that video more than me. So
I do.
welcome along, folks. And this is day number 4. And I would just love to thank every single one of you so much for the homework that you've been sharing inside the Facebook group. And some of you are already starting to realise just how powerful this work really is. And it doesn't matter the content of what you're sharing, doesn't matter how perfect it is, but the point is that you're sharing it. And this is really a guide for you to really start to take forward, because if you are really feeling that shift already, and listen, you've got to be honest, put a yes in the chat if you realise just how you have been holding yourself back for so long. And then put another yes in the chat if you're basically saying to yourself, I'm no longer available for this life that's holding me back. And you are now just ready, not just to be seen, but to be unapologetically seen in the true version of you. Because the shares and the lives that went into the Facebook group, it inspires us every single day. And I cannot put words or articulate just how brave it is to be vulnerable like that in a space, because that's the first sign that you're taking the steps you want to go forward. So if you're here after doing that wonderful work last night, Cyril and Margaret, Nikki, I don't know if you've seen them, but it was absolutely incredible to take those steps forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you all to kind of just share your biggest takeaway so far as well. Share your biggest takeaway from what's been happening. Because last night was about fear. And not just understanding fear or having beautiful little acronyms around fear, actually realising what fear is doing for you. Because most people don't realise how intelligently fear disguises itself in every single thing that we do. Everything. And the more we understand this, the more we can really start to do something about it. Because people tell us all the time they've got no fears. Nothing scares them whatsoever. Yet fear isn't the big dramatic moment that people imagine it to be. And fear, it looks like procrastination. You know, that's fear with a cloak on. It's in disguise. It could be overthinking. It could be staying busy. It could be saying yes when you're actually deep down inside saying you actually mean no. And fear is an emotion that we've often learned to tuck away and suppress when we were really, really young. And it becomes a habit. And most people are then learning that fear, that means that you're weak. It means rejection. It means that judgment from others, judgment from ourselves. It's the embarrassment, it's the failure. It's that deep feeling of shame. So instead of learning how to experience fear, we've learned on a daily basis how to avoid it. But fear really is information. It tells you what matters. It tells you where your growth is really asking you to go. And it tells you where your next level exists. And when you learn how to use fear, instead of organise your life around avoiding it and pretending it's not there, fear becomes a necessary energy for your growth, for your leadership, for your courage, for your expansion, and for your change. And fear is part of becoming who you're meant to be. I'm scared most days. If there's a day when I'm not feeling scared, then I'm saying to myself, am I growing here? And don't think of us as your coach unless you're willing to grow way beyond your comfort zone. Because when you're ready to expand your thinking and move beyond that self-imposed glass ceilings that we've made for ourselves, and we trust ourselves more deeply, and you become someone who can feel the fear, but do it anyway. And I do exactly the same. You know, I'm a bit of a perfectionist at times, and here I am sitting in my car doing this live because the environment in which I was in wasn't conducive to the sound. So I quickly moved. But the fear's going, oh, this is not perfect. Oh my God, what will people think? My standards. And yes, I maybe should have checked that environment before I went in. It was very echoey. But we really know that when we do it anyway, then we do something special. So we're here because we're ready to expand your thinking. You're here because you're ready to go beyond that glass ceilings. You're ready because you're ready to take action. Think of us. This is who we work with. Me and Nikki. You work with us because we know some of you are really interested in hearing more about what we do. So we're going to tell you that today. We're going to tell you exactly what that looks like. And we're going to hear stories. We're going to hear our stories. And we need to really think about exactly what you want. What do you want? We're going to hear from examples of letting that fear go that's stopping us. Because we want you to go after your goals. We want you to realise that you don't need to have a life that is just second best. Because everything in life is available to you. You need to trust that. Don't let fear get in your way. That's what we're touching on today, isn't it?
Well done. So did that resonate with you all? It deeply resonated with me. Fear is something that used to, like everyone, it was very prominent in my life for a very long time, and it stopped me from doing many things that were important to me and that were yeah, that I knew that were going to help me to grow. And I'm just thinking about a conversation that I've had with a client this morning, and she was saying that she's really struggling, she's really overwhelmed. And part of that fear is letting go of that identity. You know, that she has a deep belief that to be in the role that she's in, the business growth that she wants to be part of, that, you know, she needs to be the one that does everything. And this is her kind of go-to, this is one of her paradigms, is she then becomes the person that does everything because nobody can do it as good as her. And you cannot run a life or grow a business from this place. And that's fear. Letting go is fear. Letting other people, trusting other people is fear. And so these are the paradigms that our whole behavioral system are attached to, the stories that we're all attached to. And I certainly know when I came to this work, gosh, I was terrified, and I know I've shared some of this story with you before, but it was never, when I came into personal development work and career growth, and when I started studying to be a coach, it was never because I wanted to have my own business. It was one, it was part of my job, so I was very, very grateful for it. I was identified by one of my directors as somebody that would be really good at really focusing on coaching. But in hindsight, what I see is I've always been a coach. I've always worked with leaders. In all of my careers, I've worked for international hotel companies, as well as working for local health service, and everything has been about supporting leaders. But just because I was able to support other people doesn't mean I was able to do it for myself. And when I came into the personal development world, and I came into a challenge like this, I was looking for a new job. And I think I shared this with you the other day. And when I spoke to my coach, and it came out that maybe me setting up my own business was actually what I really wanted to explore doing. And so that's exactly what I did. I remember meeting another coach who was teaching how to create a group coaching program. I remember thinking, gosh, I've worked with leaders, training development, leadership development, coaching with leaders, with teams, with departments, with services for years and years. I absolutely could take the golden nuggets of that and make a group coaching program. And so I went on what was actually something very similar to this. It was a challenge, it was a few days, and it was really getting to create what I wanted to create, and realizing that if I wanted to do this, the next step was investing in that program, which would be working with them for a year to learn how to launch a business, launch a group coaching program. And I remember just thinking, my gosh, I think it was like £5,000 at the time. And I thought, oh my goodness, like I had never spent that amount of money on me before. And so I had all the thoughts of, I really want to do this. I think this could change my life. But oh my God, my husband will just not agree. There's just no way. Because that spending that kind of money on ourselves was never something that we've done. You know, we've got the kids, we've got the house, we've got the car, we've got the mortgage, we've got the food, we've got the activities. There wasn't a lot left at the end of the month, if any. And if there was any left, it was usually the bank's, not ours. So it was like, there was just not a chance he was going to agree. But I spoke to him and he said no. He said, I can't support you with this. You know, you just stay where you are. You've got your salary, you've got your pension, you've got your blah, blah. And I remember just sobbing, like thinking, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want my next level to be more about getting another promotion and bringing in more money and just being a slave to this environment. And COVID was a big part of that for me, because I really enjoyed working from home. And we were being, we were being told, come back to pre-COVID ways of working, come back to the office. And I just felt sick. I thought, no, I knew everything against me, everything inside of me was just saying, no, no, no. And so I recently set the business up. I had the kind of business account and stuff, and I just borrowed. I just thought, I need to just take this step, and I need to just do it. And I just said to him, look, I hear you, but I'm going to do this. And so I did it. And he said, well, on place for you, but I can't support it. And so that's a big thing for us. You know, we've been married for 20 years, and he supported me with the family, and he supported me with the time, because obviously I then needed to spend a bit of time, and it was like 10 hours a week was roughly what they were asking of us. So I said, and I was working full time, and so he took over things like the food. So he supported me in the ways that he could support, and let me take the financial risk, even though it was always going to be our financial risk, but it felt easier, I guess, for him to say that on you go kind of thing. So that's the crux of tonight's story. Is all around how do you create momentum? It's by taking aligned action. Most people will wait for the right. He was saying to me, wait till you brought in more clients, or wait until a year or 2 year, or go through the local kind of free business offerings that are in town. And I was like, I don't want to wait. What do I want to wait for? The jelly bean video. This is why the jelly bean video means the world to me, because it's like, well, what are you waiting for? How did I want to spend the next year? Did I want to spend it waiting? And if you spend it waiting, you simply become the person that waits. And I decided I was done with waiting for a better time to have a better life, waiting for the kids to grow up. No, I don't want to wait for the kids to grow up. I want to have a better life now whilst they're little, and whilst I can spend time with them. I want to be here for them every day when they wake up, and when they are going to school. I want to be here when they come home. I want to be here at nights when they've got their activities. I want to be the one that takes them places. I want to walk the dogs. I want to do the things. I want to go to yoga in the middle of the day. I've just come back from yoga. I want to go on my bike at 3 because it's raining at 8. So there was so much about how I wanted to live my life that being in my job was limiting me, and starting to think about creating a business around how I wanted to live. I wasn't ready to wait for that anymore. And so that's how I made that decision. That's how I moved myself forward from where I was at. I took aligned action with the goal, and I let the how open up, because of course, as soon as I invested in the program and started the program, now for the first couple of weeks, I never knew this at the time, but there's such a thing called buyer's remorse. And oh, that hit me hard. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. But the guy that I was working with, he'd said to me, you message me, Nikki, if you need anything, be prepared for this. And it feels rough. You're going to get regrets. You're going to go that, oh my goodness, you're going to get the guilt. And I did. I absolutely got it all. And he was just fabulous. He would just message me, or we would jump on a call and we'd say, right, come on, let's reconnect with you. Go. Because when you get an idea, this is, again, I don't know if I've shared this with you or not already. I keep getting these ideas about Bob's words in my mind and hearing his voice in my mind. And he says, we all get ideas, but it's up to you to breathe life into them. So I had an idea to join the program, and I joined it. But then it was up to me to keep breathing life into that decision that I had made. That's my responsibility. Nobody else could do that for me. Now, I had a coach that was willing to walk that journey with me. And so it helped. Of course, it helps. And because I didn't have anybody else. I didn't know, this decision that I had made did not make any sense to anybody. Like, why on earth would you be thinking about leaving your job? You've been in there for blah, blah, blah. You've got all these qualifications. You're climbing the ladder. Your next job is that one. And you're going to, it didn't make sense to anybody to say, no, I'm going to do this now and I'm going to spend all this money so I could do it, because it comes with real fear. And so this is who we work with. This is exactly what Jamie said. We expect the fear. It's part of the process. Most people let fear take them out of the game. And we work with people that say, okay, then I'm going to give this a go. And even just saying those words, it just made me excited. So you get to breathe life into your idea. You get to breathe life into the idea that you have for yourself, for your career, for your business, whatever it is. Maybe it's a promotion, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's better health, whatever it is, it's your responsibility to breathe life into the idea that you have and put yourself into the environments where other people are doing the same, because then it normalizes it for you. And part of my journey was starting to think about visualization. It was starting to think about, we talk about things, again, in the program, in our mentorship program, we talk about We see things in the mind's eye first. We use our imagination first. Imagination does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So when you use your imagination to visualize being the person that's got the business, you see it in your mind's eye before it becomes reality. Most people think about the things that they don't want. We teach you how to think about the things that you want. Because when you think about the things that you want, your body, your mind, everything aligns and it starts to find that. There's an incredible statistic around thought energy. And it is, there is something like 11 million bits of data available to us in any 1 minute. And the conscious mind can only process something like 40 bits of data. So how do we see what we see? We have inside our brain the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system, or the RAS for short, is the filter that filters out those 11 million bits of data, and it says, show her them. And so consciously we see what we see, but we see what's in alignment with our paradigm. We see what's in alignment with who we think we are, our identity. And we're going to talk to you more about identity over the weekend, because identity is gold. We see in alignment with what's familiar. The subconscious mind likes familiar. So when you say, I want the big goal, and you start to think about what that looks like and feels like, it's not familiar, so it's rejected. So if you wanted to grow your business and you say, right, okay, well, I want to start bringing in 5 new clients a month, but 5 new clients a month is not familiar for you because you haven't really imagined what working with 5 new clients a month would look like or feel like. Your reticular activating system will not show you your 5 new clients, even though they're there. It will show you what you're used to because it shows you what's familiar. I'm just going to check in that this is actually all making a bit of sense. Yeah, this makes sense. So the RAS shows you what's familiar. When you want to think about change, you have to practice seeing it in your mind's eye first. And then it feels safer in the body. And so then the reticular activating system then starts to show you what you're looking for. Oh, there's a new client, speak to them. And then you get to take action. Then you get to do the things that you've not done before. Then you get to reach out. And then that comes with a whole different level of fear, because it comes with being seen, being visible. And that starts to tell you what your subconscious paradigms are about visibility. And then you get to offer, and there's another one. So this is the work that we do. And this is why it changes lives, because we bring you into an environment where we're normalizing this. And we're bringing you into an environment where when you're doing this for the first time, you've got a group of people beside you that says, you've got this. And you literally start to train your mind to see the things that you want to see instead of the things that you don't want to see. But it's all conscious choice. None of this will happen by accident. It's practiced, it's rehearsed, and it's created. So I'm going to just take a pause because I'm conscious that Jamie's sitting in his car. Let's just make sure he's okay. And we'll comment here before I keep going.
No, not at all. I think, listen, who here is resonating with what Nikki's saying here? There'll be so many parts of the story here about choices, about fear, about other people in your life that do have an influence. And listen, we cannot help but at times feel that guilt or feel, can I do what I really want to do? But at the same time, that jelly bean video at the start is telling us and reminding us, this is not a dress rehearsal. You've got to go and make decisions right now that are going to make your life better.
Yeah.
Or we keep on going to that, Brian Tracy, we talk about that very populated island, that someday island. Someday I'll do that. I'll do that when the summertime comes. I'll do that on a Monday. I'll do that when I've got the money. I'll do that when conditions have got to be absolutely perfect before I do anything. Yeah. And then what starts to happen is nothing happens, nothing changes. And it's tough. You know, we're not saying that, you know, other people around you that sometimes we live up to their paradigms. Sometimes we live up to their level of beliefs. And sometimes, you know, I've been a people pleaser for large parts of my life. But I know now I am completely on purpose. I'll never use the word aligned. Everything I do in my life is completely 100% aligned. And nothing feels like work, nothing feels an effort. And now and again you feel a bit sleepy and tired and listen to the body. That's your body. But
Yeah.
when you've got the vision and the belief and the faith to deal with the fear, just wow. Just wow. And we're just getting started.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Just getting started. And it's all energy, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, momentum is key, isn't it? I think so. There's people that are watching, and I know that you have already shared with us that you're enjoying this. You're getting so much out of it, but it's the people that want to keep going, the people that want to stay with the. I think I said yesterday. I think Shan commented on it. The 6-pack of life. That when you realise that being in material like this every single day will change your life. Being around like-minded people every day. Now, we work with our clients mostly for about an hour every day. We meet our clients at 6 a.m. in the morning because then they can go about their day, and they go about their day with a very different energy than what they do. If we go on holiday, we travel a lot, Jamie and I, and sometimes when we're in America, we simply don't do the calls because the timings don't align. And what's really been lovely actually is some of them have been creating the calls together because they don't like that it's not happening. And so that's incredible, but it really is just about considering for yourself, who are you? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to create? And if you see yourself as being this person that has this life that's always in forward momentum, then you get to stay in this energy. You get to keep applying what you're learning every single day. And so this is how we move forward. This is how you get to move forward, because what kills momentum is isolation. It's doing it on your own. It's maybe it will work, maybe it won't work. All I know is that the people that come into our world are not the people that want to do it alone. They're the people that want accountability, the people that want momentum, and they know that there's so much power in community. There's so many different ideas that get spoke about, that they leave with different ideas, not just from what Jamie and I share and talk about and teach, but from each other as they share and talk about the impact of the material and the things that they've done with it, which always is great for spreading ideas. So this is not about learning concepts. What we're doing here is we're activating the version of you that's ready to move, that's ready to be the person that follows through, that's ready to be the person that wants the things and says they want the thing, but does the things too. And who keeps moving and who knows the value of little and often every day. This is not about becoming the quantum leap version of you on Saturday. This is about realizing that in 6 months' time, you're going to look back and go, wow, this is incredible. And this is really happening. And so it is all about the energy, and it is all about the energy that you put out into the world. And it's about reorganizing your day around creating the energy within you. So I don't know, Jamie, if you've got the Omega energy chart handy.
I might do it.
If you've got it handy,
Does it look like this?
to do that whilst I'd speak. Do you have it handy? Amazing. So we talk a lot about energy. We teach a lot about energy, and there's a reason why energy is attractive. Basically, what you put out into the world, you get back. Yeah, your presence is felt before you are seen, and human beings are simply magnetic. And when you carry this kind of presence, so you look at the top of the energy chart there, you become a mirror for other people. Other people feel seen and they feel safe. And when people feel safe, possibility opens. People soften, they open up, and they become curious about themselves, their relationships, their leadership, and what actually might be possible for them too. This is the ripple effect of energy. People are drawn towards those who feel grounded, feel connected, feel alive, because it feels safe to be around them. So again, I'm just going to come back to the conversation with my client this morning. Her energy is chaotic because she's not operating from a place of calm. She has a big business and she wants to make it bigger. She wants to make an impact in her environment, in her community, in her place where she lives. She wants to take her business beyond. She wants to set a business she's been part of the business. Well, she's not been part of it for a long time, but it's a business that comes from legacy. It was created, gosh, I actually said this morning, Jamie, didn't she, about 150 years ago. And it's just been passed down. She wants to grow it and pass it down to the next people that want to take it over. But you can't do that if your energy is chaotic. And just by telling people I'm fine doesn't make you fine. Your energy is felt. And when you say I'm fine and your energy is not fine, people feel that. And then what you do is you break down trust. And so energy is everything. It doesn't matter what you do. If you are operating from a sales perspective, you might be having a business and you have to sell. If you're not comfortable with selling, your energy is felt. If you're leading a team and you are not fully committed to leading the team, if you don't see them as the best versions of themselves, it's felt. They will not follow you. Your energy is a superpower. It magnetizes the right people to you, and your energy can be cultivated. So the Omega Energy chart shows us what happens to the body. Now we all emit, is it I haven't, what's the name of it? The Kirian light photographer. Kirian, is it Kirian? Can you remember? I'll let you Google that in the background.
Yeah,
so this was a photographer that had photographed light being emitted from humans. And this is basically where this energy chart comes from, that we emit light based on the energy that we emit. So every energy level has a light attached to it. And if you're living in apathy or guilt or shame, at the bottom of that energy chart, I'm going to put my glasses on, Jamie, that's far too small for my screen.
Sorry, that's the biggest we've got.
It's contracted. The energy is tight at the bottom. And so you can everything gets stuck within you. And when you come into the world that we offer you and you work with us, and there's so many different ways you get to work with us, you start to realize that the possibility is available for you, and you start to open up your imagination to what might be possible for you, and you move from the low energetics where you are. Now you might be sitting at neutrality, you might not be low, but there's always somewhere else to go. And as you climb this with the knowledge that we share and with the practices that we teach, this is why we say one day you're going to look back and you're going to go, wow, because you're going to be expanded. You're going to feel part of the community. You're going to feel that whatever it is that you want out there is possible for you. And so you start to experience more excitement and more joy in your life. And that's the outcome. That's the bit where you're living in alignment with what's important to you. You're growing the business with where you want to go. Now, your paradigms are always going to be there and they're always going to get in the way. And there will be times when it's difficult and they'll pull you right back in. It's exactly what happened with our client this morning. She's going through a tough time. So your paradigm is always there. It's you can't get away from your paradigms. But what you start to realize is, oh gosh, they're here. And that was the message from her this morning. Oh, I am struggling. And I'm seeing where I'm struggling and I know why I'm struggling. So she sees it now. That's massive, because once you see it, choice becomes available. So this is why we work with energy. This is why we teach energy. This is why we make energy a huge priority, because we're magnetic. What we put out into the world comes back to us. And so when you're ready to live an inspired life, when you're ready to inspire others, to create massive impact, to change your inner world so deeply that it's seen and it's felt in your outer world, then think of us, because this is what we do. And so wherever you are right now, it's not that you're broken. People will sometimes feel, I don't know what you want to presume to know what you feel, but I know in the past it's like people come to us because they just feel like they're not doing things right. And it's not about being right or being wrong. It's just, where are you focusing your energy and your attention? Because your mind is always doing its job. It's always showing you what you're telling it to see. It's not that it's broken or not working. It's working exactly as it's meant to work. It's always listening. So whatever you train your brain to look for, it will help you to find. But the key is, train your brain to look for what it is that you want to see in the world. You don't talk about what you don't want to see. You talk about what you want to see. If I was to go onto Google today and say, I don't want to have spaghetti bolognese for tea tonight, I'm going to get recipes for spaghetti bolognese. Yeah, the mind is exactly the same. You can't say, I don't want to have another low-income month. Oh, low-income month. The RAS will just block out all the available opportunities that are out there for you, that are 11 million bits of data, and it'll just show you the ones that are around what you're telling it to show you, because it doesn't do the negative. So again, I'm just going to pause and I'm just going to check in with you and just say, this makes sense, doesn't it? And we did say this to you at the beginning of the week. We're going to give you everything. This is what we do. This is what we do with our clients. You're getting everything from us, and you're not going to leave here wondering anything. Our intention for you is to want to know how to get more of this in your life, by just giving you all and letting you see how amazing and how transformational that this material really is.
We can speak about this for hours and hours and hours, and I'm sure you can listen for hours and hours and hours. But the true question is not about how much more do we need to know, it's what do we do next. This live is called Take the First Step, and many have taken the first step this week. Nikki Shan had, just before we came live, put her live video into the Facebook group as well, so well done, Shan. Really good. And she was,
well done.
and Shan, even just commenting here, you did share some of your takeaways this week, as did Cyril, and Margaret was really brave last night as well. But these realizations are the first step. But is what are you going to do next? And me and Nikki keep on saying, we're going to give you everything that you need. We're giving you the recipe book, but you need to add the ingredients. And the ingredients include making a decision, taking action, and moving to that next step where you know that the next level will be unlocked. Nikki's talked about levels of accountability. We are looking at, really looking at time differently. But the true question is, what are you going to do next? After today, what is next? We've still got another few days to go, and we're going to continue to give you absolutely everything. But what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to improve whatever you've decided you want to go after this week? Because when you work with us, it becomes clearer. And you've experienced that this week. When you work with us, you highlight the parts you know that's holding you back. When you are around other like-minded individuals who want to make changes, it becomes safe. You can speak openly without that fear of ridicule, that fear of rejection, that fear of just people's opinions and judgment of, why are you speaking about this? And that's what we've created in our Brilliant Minds Academy. It's a safe space, an inspiring space, a challenging space, but somewhere where you can move forward. And we're so privileged and grateful that we get to be regularly wonderful people who are taking risks, wonderful people who are taking true action and are having some incredible results. Because me and Nikki can say certain things, but majority of the actions they take is down to other people in that community, because they're living proof that they're taking action and getting actual results. So what is that next step for you? Because we're going to ask you to take some steps today. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. And that's about us continuing to help you to get clarity on where you want to go forward. What's holding you back? Having a safe space to talk about that. Me and Nikki will provide you with a laser focused session on what is it you need to really do to move forward. Can you imagine being in a room with me and Nikki, listening to you, devising with you, planning with you, then getting an execution plan with you to take your life forward from next week onwards, where you can really move that forward. Who would like that? Who's ready to commit to that? Because we're going to put a link into the chat very soon, and we've got a select few spaces of a laser-focused one-on-one call with me and Nikki to really consolidate some of the learning from this week, but really help you move forward. Just for you. Just you. Nobody else. Just you. With undevoted attention, really, you'll listen to exactly where you are, but we can also guide you and together come up with a solution moving forward. Who wants that? What would that mean? And we said we're going to give you absolutely everything from this week. Everything. So if we put a link into the chat bar, you've got an opportunity to book a call with us. Like right now, whilst we're on the call. Is that the first step? Is that the first step? Because that link is in there now. And who's going to be brave enough to click on that link, find the time over the weekend? Because it's only the weekend you can book a call. After that, gone. That's your only opportunity to do that. And we said this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we've got sessions on Saturday and Sunday, and we're offering you up to 90 minutes to come and sit down with me and Nikki to say, right, how do we take this forward? Who else in your life is going to give you that level of support, that level of respect, that level of guidance? If you've got that, fantastic. If not, we are offering it to you right now. And all you need to do is decide. And then on a first come, first served basis, once those slots are gone, boom, they're away. Now, they might seem there's a lot of times in there, but they're 90-minute slots. And I'm probably counting there's probably only approximately about maybe 6 or 7 available. And there's 70 people booked on this registration programme. Who's going to be first? And there's many people watching back on replay. Why are we saying all this? Because me and Nikki had to make a choice one day to be vulnerable enough to move forward. Vulnerability equals strength, as Brené Brown said. So what are you going to do? What is next?
Amazing. I think, do you have a video, Jamie, of the fly story? I think we should play that.
Of Bob and Fly. Bob reading the Fly story.
Yeah. Is that handy?
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good thing to play just now.
When was the first time you heard the Fly story?
Oh gosh, I read the book, U Squared. It's a great book, years and years ago. And I just remember being blown away by the simplicity of it. What about you? Is it Price Pritchard that wrote the book?
Go to I find this. This person there.
Who's the author of the book? Is it Price Pritchard? So the book is called U Squared. And Bob Proctor used to read this story, and he used to not sell the book, but he used to say to people, go and buy this book. This book is amazing. And the guy wondered why his sales were going through the roof for the book. And eventually when he connected with Bob, they became really good friends. And so when I first came into Bob Proctor's world as a coach, then I realised this is one of the books that we were encouraged to study. I was over the moon because and again, one of the reasons I'm so aligned with the material that we teach is because personally it's the material that I've read that's got me to where I'm at with my coaching and with my life. And so when the material was aligning the way that it did, it felt aligned. I'm going to use the word aligned a lot today, I think. But yeah, I would like you to listen to this because there's so much in this very short story that will really make sense, I think.
Hold on a second, The wrong one, a shield. Cool. There we go. This is it. Enjoy this.
I'm sitting in a quiet room at the Millcroft Inn, a peaceful little place hidden back among the pine trees about 1 hour out of Toronto. He said, it's just past noon in late July, and I'm listening to the sounds of a life or death struggle going on just a few feet away. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life's energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of the window pane. The whining wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder, but it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. Yet it's impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. The fly is doomed. It will die there on the windowsill. Now, across the room, just 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small insect could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it would be free of its self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there, and it would be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offer the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt the approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it's a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes, your breakthrough, then you may kill your chances for success. It's such a phenomenal story. And then I tell them, that's only one page. There's 35 pages in here, and each page tells a different deal.
Amazing.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I heard one of my mentors, Doug Dane, read that. Doug read that out. And he was actually in a hotel room. And I was kind of go, did he write that himself? But it was amazing. So amazing.
Mm. Yeah.
So well done for taking action. People have started booking calls. Well done. And that's the first step. First step of taking your life forward is by really being brave and taking action.
Fantastic.
And there's still time. Sorry, Nikki, where about now?
I think that we're probably coming towards the end. Where tomorrow afternoon is huge. Tomorrow we bring the conversation around energy, around money. So this, I was going to say, this is for you if, well, do you know what we all need to know what our subconscious paradigms are around money. And if you know what your subconscious paradigms are around money, then we've got some amazing information that will help you to deepen that knowledge, but also how to overcome them. And coincidentally, we are, what am I saying there? We are looking at, we've just started our wealth season in our academy this week. So the material that we've got for the session tomorrow is absolutely gold. So yeah, super excited for that. Tomorrow, so that's 1 o'clock tomorrow. Is it 1 o'clock tomorrow? Yeah, 1 o'clock tomorrow Friday. And yeah, we'll
1 o'clock tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So good. And tomorrow it's all about those beliefs as well. And because regardless of where we are in life, exactly like I say, money's not important, but it's kind of up there with oxygen. And it's something that we do need to speak about. And we've been speaking about a lot about money in our community in the past 2 weeks. And we're about to for the next 10, 11, 12 weeks.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Shall we finish with the bean story?
Oh, let's put the bean story on again because it's just beautiful. And yeah, so well done everyone for being here today and for, just letting.
When did you first?
When what? When what?
Sorry, I was asking when you first seen the bean story.
A coaching program that I was on that it showed it, and I just thought, oh wow, that's amazing. I mean, most of the videos that I share are because other people have shared them with me, and they've made an impact on me. There's lots of videos that I've seen that haven't had an impact on me, but when I choose to share things in spaces like this, it's because they've done something. They've opened my eyes. They've made me realise that, do you know what? Yeah, most of us are living like we're indestructible. We put things off till later, and we don't look after ourselves well enough. We put ourselves last, put ourselves at the bottom of the pile, and all you're doing is training your nervous system to create that life for you. And when you realise that you get to create something different, then that's it. So most of what I share in these spaces and the videos and things, and it's because I've experienced that, and it's changed me for the better. Yeah.
Well, here we go then. We'll see you all again tomorrow. Here's the bean story.
Tomorrow.
Well done.
Money, 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 money. You're gonna love it.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
These are roughly 28,835 jelly beans. I counted out 500 of them and used those to weigh the rest. In this pile, there's one jelly bean for each day that the average American will live. You might have more beans in your life, or maybe less, but on average, this is the time we have. Here's a single bean. It's your very first day. A special day, but kind of a rough day on everyone involved. Add 364 more and you have the first year of your life. Now, for a sense of scale, here are your first 15 years, 5,475 days, which brings us to the threshold of adulthood. And at that moment, this is the time that we have left. And this is, on average, what we will do with all that time. We will be asleep for a total of 8,477 days. If we're lucky, some of that time we'll be sleeping next to someone we love. We will be in the process of eating, drinking, or preparing food for 1,635 days. We'll be at work, hopefully doing something satisfying, for the equivalent of 3,202 of those days. 1,099 days will be spent commuting or traveling from one place to another, maybe a little bit more if you live in LA. On average, we will watch television in one form or another for a total of 2,676 days. Household activities, like chores and tending to our pets and shopping, will take another 1,576 days. And we will care for the needs and well-being of others, our friends and family, for 564 days. We'll spend 671 days bathing, grooming, and doing all other bathroom-related activities. And another 720 days will go to community activities, like religious and civic duties, charities, and taking classes. After we remove all those beans, this is what remains. This is the time that we have left. Time for laughing, swimming, making art, going on hikes, text messages, reading, checking Facebook, playing softball, maybe even teaching yourself how to play the guitar. So what are you going to do with this time? How much of it do you think you've already used up? If you only had half of it, what would you do differently? What about half of that? How much time have you already spent worrying, instead of doing something that you love? What if you just had one more day? What are you going to do today?